I want to do something I don't need to do, but I just couldn't help it. It's an upgrade for the truck to help tow a little. I love the coil springs for normal driving and for a lot of reasons. However, towing it isn't always the best. There's good and bad in them. Problem is, having a linear spring rate, they continue to crush at the same rate the whole way through, so they have a tendency to squat, plus they rebound a little faster. Makes them great on the road, not so great for towing. So instead of a progressive spring rate for like a leaf spring can have, these are very linear. All right, again, not great for towing, but for under 200 bucks, I can add a set of helper bags to this thing, level that straight out, not a problem at all, and not destroy my ride quality. So what we're gonna do is, I got these fairly inexpensive, had great reviews, maxpeedingrods bags. It's a kit for this truck right here. This is the box it came in. We're gonna unbox this thing, see what you got. Guys, if this helps you out, make sure you hit that like button, give me a subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It helps out a lot. I really need it. Thanks. Maxpeedingrods, let's go ahead and open it up. Sound like a flat screwdriver to open boxes. Don't worry, I'm sure I'll fast forward all this. Well, there's a phone number and all that good stuff that comes with it. So far, the packaging looks good. Oh, there is an installation guide. Someone talked about not having that, but looks like it's actually great. Maybe some other, yeah, there's some other items they carry. Little fine card. Man, I'll tell you that. Oh, that sticker. That made it all worth it. That is like 3D, almost an emblem quality. That's really cool. Put that over here on the keep pile. Let's see. Again, packaging looks pretty good. Hoses, I don't know how many feet that's in. It looks like 20 feet maybe. Don't know. Oh. For these plates, everything's painted well. Seems to be reasonable weight. Probably should take a picture of all these. And all right, so slightly different. So let's see. Two of that, two of that. There's our hardware kit. Got a guillotine. Bolts look to be typical. And everything's got a great finish to it all. I mean, looks like really good. And big long carriage bolts. These actually go around the axle or around the spring hanger and like hold everything against it. Or those, no, those go against the axle, I believe, and hold it down. There's the bag. That is plastic. It looks like it's probably a decent bag, but that's probably where they got kind of skimped on quality a little bit, because that is a plastic rather than aluminum. We'll see. There's both bags. But I mean, they are good rubber. They just, again, and there's nothing wrong with plastic. We've all learned that over the years. It's actually quite often pretty good stuff. Let's see. I have 4 of these. Yep, and they all look to be identical. Double check, make sure I didn't leave anything in the box. Everything is out of the box. So far, so good. All right, so we've got, looking at this thing, it's kind of telling me assembling the air spring, so it actually takes you through the installation process. First thing we got to do is go underneath the truck and take off the bump stops. This will bolt in place. This is number A, which is this one. If you'll notice, there's a larger and a smaller. These two are identical in size, but this one has a smaller. This piece right here. Now they're not marked in any way, but by looking at this, this is A, so this is a top plate, which will go up onto the truck in place of the bump stop. These are up. This plate goes on right here. This, I believe, will go as such. One side does this and the other side does that for right now, just like so. And I'm hoping, I'd really prefer just to put a fitting right here because I can reach it behind the wheel easier than I can anywhere else, and that takes the need for that hose out completely. But we'll see. Even numbers of everything. Let's determine what goes here. Okay, number 9, 10 by 20. So I've got these. So our M10 by 20, which is number 9 on the thing, actually hold this down here and here. What looks like will happen is I'll then take these, that one and this one, here and here, and then we'll sit down on top of here. So not the best instructions with the thing, but not as bad as what some people have said. But let's go ahead and go through it. I've got everything that I need down here. As I'll need it, I'll reach for it. I'll kind of talk about it. First thing I do want to say is we have to take off these bump stops, get those into place, and then we can start put our top plate into position. Now I'll have to look at it and make sure it's setting exactly the way it needs to. I know the airline will need to set out, so go with that. Don't know what happened there. Anyway, 16 millimeter to take these bad boys off and the bump stops. All right, bump stops on. I know that this large hole has to point out. So when I push this up in here, that should be just like so. So again, this is the smaller of the two. There are two different sizes that have this oblong hole, or the milled hole, I should say, adjustable. The smaller that just fits the bolt goes up against the frame. And this takes, total inability to read, I believe this is a 6 mil Allen. Again, I do want to put a drop of red Loctite on all this. And I just want to put one little, boom, one little, that much. Very little. Again, red's probably way too much for this. Not stupid tight, just good and well torqued. All right, there is that. Now, what I talked about already. Yep. Just drop the nut and washer off of this one. This plate, you can see this has an oblong. The other one's the narrower, it goes up. This one will go on top of it. This actually bolts to the bag right here. However, before we do that, let's go ahead and put this fitting on. I think I can put the fitting on. Nope, we'll have to put the fitting on after. So, again, just a drop of red. Not a lot, very, very, very little. Give that a good torque down. Again, just a little bit of Loctite keeps that from backing off. I just want to get it a nice little just a little So, just as a trial, a quick look at this to make sure when we drop this into place, everything's going to line up. So, there you go. The way this one is set right now. And these carriage bolts are like way too long, so I'm going to assume that I'll probably take and cut those off because they're horrible. Horribly long. Alright, so this is all tight. You can see right there where I'm at. That should now be able to go up into here. Boom, just like so. And if I'm not mistaken, let's just do this real quick as a trial. Yep. So we're going to put that on. I got some tape, but I didn't realize that's an O-ring fitting. No tape needed. Torque this down and be done. By the way, that's a 12 millimeter. Just like that. That's it right there. Just that little bit. And I've got these come up from the bottom. White washer and lock nut. If you got somebody to help you, it might make it easier to put these together. But if you don't, it is not the end of the world. It is a doable process by yourself. Now, I am not putting these any Loctite on these because this is a lock nut. Great thing about a lock nut, even if it's not torqued to spec, it's not coming loose. And I think, and I'm hoping that that's a 16 millimeter too, but it's not. And it's not a 19. Oh, great. All right, let me get the right size for that. So I had a 17 laying here already. All right, that spins where I want it. I think what I'm gonna do is take that air hose, spin it right up into that frame, feed it back through the frame. Because I despise. Alright, so let's go ahead and do one and the other. Again, that takes this so that it sits good and flat. A little, just a dab. Just a little bitty dab. I think my thing's gonna be like this. But you do have to put those long carriage bolts in before you get to this point. If you forget those, you're taking this thing back apart. Should be good with all this. There, I've got that just. And you can see I put just a dab of that red, and it might be a mistake. I know somebody's gonna scream at me and tell me, you're crazy. That's all right. Calling me nuts, but I think you got the balls to make it here. Write that down. those are marked down. So I'm not sure what this is supposed to do. If it's supposed to sit here or what. But I figure out what this is for. Okay, so I'm gonna take this all back apart because I forgot to put these on. I'll show you when I get there. Not too crazy. Let's make sure that's on the right side, and it's not. So that's a problem. The wrong side of my brake line. So something to think about. I'll be putting this back up in there. Make sure the back side of that brake line. Everything's nice where it needs to be. I'm going to put this into perspective. I'm going to go ahead and at least get these started on the bottom. And now everything's where it should be instead of, well, where I put it. All right, there's that one. Just tighten up top side. Again, bottom side. We'll wait to get the other side together. And we still have to figure out if that's important. So just a quick once over. Muddled through that one. However, this is what you can put together. That I haven't figured out yet. Here's your bag. Both these cups go in between it. Again, the larger one, these two can go ahead and tighten down. Go ahead and put this in. Put your go ahead and put your two. I think this. Yeah, so go ahead and put your two M1520s in here. Your two M1530s. The two M1530s actually bolt the bracket to the bump stop, and then these two will bolt this to that bracket. Again, I went ahead and put this bolt in. It shows it, but it never talks about tightening it, and there is no nut to put on it. But there is a spot that's curved that I think we can put that large washer in and kind of lock this thing into a better position. So I'm going with that. It may be as simple as I didn't need the bolt, I just needed to stick it in there and line it up, then tighten it down. But I think I can put a nut on this and we'll be good to go. So I'll add one. Worst thing that could happen is I didn't need it. But I'm gonna go ahead and take the bump stop off of this, get this piece mounted, get everything ready. We can jack up the axle and tighten up the bottom side. What I've just done, went ahead and jacked up the back axle until it comes up, touches the airbags. Then I put these two long carriage bolts, clamp around the axle. I guess that kind of holds it into position. One mistake I made earlier, you may have seen this gasket, they call it, and I'm not sure why. It's just a thick washer, and I don't see really what it does other than maybe it keeps this thing from pushing out the back, sort of a stop in case something were to happen. But it is on the front side, not on the rear. I thought it would be on the rear where this curve was. Maybe it would be in alignment. It is not. It does not work that way. So we've got that on. These things are all hooked up. Now I know a lot of people will take their airlines and run them out to the back or wherever. I left mine under the wheel well, and where I put it is right here. Just a short wire, just a short one right here. I'll put something to protect that because I can easily get to this, reach up underneath of it and make that whatever. And if I ever want to go to an air system, I don't know where it's going to be, so I'll upgrade at that time. For right now, that gives me an easy place to get to it, and it's hidden out of the way. So simple place to get it. So I got to put my saddle and tighten down the other side, put the wheels back on this thing, and we'll check for leaks. All right, so we are done sitting on bags. I'm not sure, I don't find any leaks, but drive a little bit. Seem to have dropped pressure after a few minutes, and I don't know why. I'm wondering maybe it needed to settle in, but again, soapy water everywhere. No signs of any leaks. We'll go from there. Now, one thing to mention when I put these in, I don't know if you can see down here, but right here I've had to eat that away. The push lock fitting that they use on top of this is not tall enough to set up out of the mount. So I had to grind that mount a little bit to give it room. Otherwise it's holding the push lock in and won't let the air hose lock into place. So when you put the air in, it'd pull right back out. Knock that out a little bit, push it in, worked fine. So don't know if they went to a different supplier, it's a little different height, but that was an issue for me. Everything else looks pretty good. Like I said, it's all pretty well built, pretty well held together. Personally, I'd just soon have a straight fitting going into this. Comes straight out with an airline. I'm not running this back to the bumper or anywhere else. I know where the airlines are. I'm going to use my little compressor whenever I do it, and I'll set it up for whatever pressure I decide I need for whatever I'm pulling, and we'll go from there. I think I'll run about 10 to 15 pounds in these things normally. 15 pounds does lift it just a little bit, so it's not quite setting the same as it was, but it's not going to hurt a thing. Actually, might actually level the truck a little better, because even with the leveling kit, I feel they look a little low in the rear, so just to kind of get it back to where it needs to be. Otherwise, guys, for 180 bucks, I really can't complain about this. I'll pull with it this weekend. Again, my trailer, I don't really need them, but I have considered an upgrade and feel that this may be needed if I do the upgrade. So hope this helped. If you want to see something else, let me know. Look down in the, leave me a comment below. Tell me what you want to see, and tell me what your experience with these things have been, because can't complain about it, especially for the price for what all I got. 190 bucks is pretty nice. If they work, if they're junk, then I guess 180 bucks is a lot, but worst case, I buy a better set of bags and I use all their bracketry.